Next up, hello, howdy y'all. Ranton is one of the most underrated YouTubers I think I know. Even though he has 1 million subs, his reviews are the most underrated thing known to man. They are top tier quality. And he made a review, God of War Ragnarok is disappointing. Here's why. Let's see. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see his hot takes. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Time has come, but I have to
Fuck Lalo doing okay. Oh.
4 years I wait, man. 4 years.
Surely he likes it, right?
Okay. I stay relaxed, brother. I stay relaxed. Strap in or strap on. No shame. Okay. I will give you now my review of God of War Ragnarok.
50 hours play.
My Ragnarok is numb und wundgescheuert. God of War difficulty, and trust me, I have a lot to say. There will be things that you will almost certainly disagree with. But all I ask is that you listen to me, so you understand where I'm coming from, basically. Also, disclaimer, there will be 0 story spoilers. No.
Real? That's surprising.
I will talk about the game and I will talk about it hard. I have to talk about one important feature that's in the game that is revealed quite early on. It's not a spoiler unless you consider any new mechanic that I show a spoiler. But trust me, I will mention it because it's very important to my overall rating later on. But I'll tell you nothing about the story itself. That you can believe. But if I hear whining in the comment section, where is spoiler? I want to make it clear as come. The foundation remains.
What? Clear as come. Okay. What the fuck?
You may not believe it because of, you know, the big epic battles, the cinematic cutscenes, the mythology. What I love the most is the chill, low-key exploration and puzzle solving. I fucking love it. It remains top tier over here. Ace in the anus. How do I open this chest? Bing, bong, bong, da 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 da. Sometimes your companions point out the solution a bit too fast. Like you take 1 more second, they're like,
Kratos, have you thought about this?
Yeah, true.
It would be nice if they would shut up a bit more, especially Mimir. Hey, brother. You were right. Call me bro.
You were right, brother.
But it's okay.
Behind you, brother. Yeah, no. To be fair, yeah, they need to make an option, or just turn down the rate at which your companions spoil puzzles, or just give you notifications. And this could all come with a patch, like a new game plus patch. They could all do that.
So I don't hear that shit. I just love when the game lets me off the leash.
Does everyone hate Atreus? Oh, he's...
It still works and it's still a blast. There's so much content in Ragnarok. It's like the first game times 1.5. Absolutely solid. And it's just a blessing to see the realms in different styles, you know? That's Fimbulwinter for you guys.
It spares nobody.
Fanboy compilation, check it out. What a gorgeous game. What a beauty, mate. You want to buy a decent home? The realms you visit are massive. No longer is it like Midgard, one big hub zone. But every realm is now its own hub. And it keeps getting bigger. You're like, whoa, this realm is big. More. Like in Star Wars Fallen Order, where also the maps get bigger and bigger. Fucking epic shit. The crater. An entirely optional region. Oh, monsieur. It's my favorite. 5 hours in that region alone. Just for fun. And you can triple the amount of side quests.
I just keep seeing his sweat. It's making me laugh.
It goes, find my deck. Now you travel between realms with the door, you know, the fast travel door from the previous game. Yeah, I mean, I had to get used to that at first. I missed the big table, you know, the table that you turn the table to travel to the back realms. And the tree goes. And in the first game, it said like, this realm has been locked by Odin. And in my head, I made a mental check note. And I said, I'm gonna come back here in a few years, and I can't wait to access these realms. You took that from me, that chance. But at the same time, it's much faster and less of a hassle. Because let's be real, the way you transport in the past, it kind of took forever. It's something that I had to get used to, you know? Shout out to that tree, though. You are missed. You still explore by boat, but also with the wolves. The wolves are awesome, but riding around with them on the ice, the controls suck a little bit. Also, sometimes the controls...
I don't like how the dogs, like... I don't like how, like, oh yeah, you, like, the dogs look in one direction, and, like, you have to go there. It was a cool mechanic. Maybe it could have been more obvious. Maybe the dogs, like, were bigger.
Stop listening to my command. And also, when you get off the sled and you go do your shit, they won't shut the fuck up. Yo, stop tripping. The dogs keep barking. You know what I do with Sammy when he barks? In the book. Enemy variety was an exaggeration to call it a problem in the first game, but it wasn't ideal. Now there's a lot more. Let me explain this to you using maths. Amount of enemies in first game, X. Amount of enemies in second game, X plus Y, but not Y plus Z. Do you get it?
No.
So
Yes,
they reuse
'cause
the
it's
old
the
enemies,
original
which is fine,
ones.
not a complaint at all.
Yeah.
And add
I
more
was just
top.
thinking
Plus
about
bosses,
that.
So many more bosses. First game didn't have bosses. This game, many bosses. Many. Shout out to Bjorn.
Kleiner Krüppel.
It's good for sure. Although, you know, if you're being really precise, I did notice that many bosses are like introductions of enemy types. Many games do that. It's fine. Hey, we have more bosses. The gameplay will feel immediately familiar to you. You feel right back home. Finisher! Uppercut in dein Gesicht, Alter. Now, there is one major new feature. I don't consider this a story spoiler. In fact, I predicted it after I played the first game. I said the second game is guaranteed to have this. I will circle back to this later because it's important to understand my rating, so I recommend you listen. But for now, to the very sensitive, you get a small spoiler. It's not a spoiler. Like, why are you even watching a review if you don't want me to talk about the game?
True, dude. Some of my YouTube shorts, people just go crazy if even there's a spoiler. But before I'm talking for so long about it.
Playing as Atreus is a great idea. An amazing
Thank
idea,
you.
in fact. The great Antoni Mongoloni predicted it. I knew they were going for this, and I love it. Not because the gameplay itself is, like, amazing. Really,
oh, you don't like it?
I just love the fact that you can do it. Ich muss sagen, ich habe genug von dem Affentheater. The music changes, the vibe shifts, and the audience can tell that things will never be the same. But Ranton has to do this. Before we continue here, you know me. What area code is amount? My ratings are based on how much fun I have. No science to it. Mass Effect Andromeda, 9 out of 10. Uncharted 4, 7. Spider-Man, 7. Last of Us 2, 9. Death Stranding, 9.
Just to mention some of my greatest hits.
If I don't like something, I have to say it. I hope this is what you appreciate about me a little bit. You don't
Yes,
have to
I love
agree,
your
but
reviews.
at least
They're
try.
very non-biased, and I do like them.
Listen, if you do, you might even understand my gripes a little bit and have a chance with me in bed. Anal is fatal. Ultimately, I am incredibly disappointed in God of War Ragnarok. I will make my case now based on 3 pillars. Story, combat, UI. We increase severity as we go on. Let's begin with the user interface. Or should I say, in your face? Massive step
Yeah,
back
it is
from
in
the
your
first
face.
game.
Holy shit.
Unfucking believable. First game, clean as fudge. The information is presented straight to the point. Everything well sorted, not sensory overload. And it's not a matter of getting used to it. When I played Ragnarok for the first time on stream, I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? Oh god, I hate. It took me 50 hours to finish this game. I did all the side shit, almost 100% of the collectibles. I never
Finished it twice.
It's so badly organized. There are too many numbers on screen.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they could have made this way. I feel like they could have made this UI just way more accessible, easier on the eyes, and just better looking in general. Like these guys are a AAA studio. They can definitely make a UI more nicer.
Weapons are in the same row as craftables.
But once again, it didn't affect my experience.
In the same
I
row
just
as
wish
their
it was
pommels
nicer.
and attachments. Nothing short of a catastrophe. Not to mention Kratos constantly glitching and not holding the weapons. You want to change the pommel of the axe? It doesn't show you the axe. Want to change the pommel of the Blade of Chaos? Doesn't show you the fucking pommel. It shows you his hand. Sometimes he's doing this and he's holding nothing. I enjoyed the armor system in the first game. I enjoyed it here as well, but much less simply because I hated sorting through these menus. Every second I looked at them reduced my enjoyment. It's an abomination. I still love how armor looks and get better ones, but still today, if you asked me,
yo, how do I get this information in the game?
I don't know. Next, combat. Oh boy. Didn't
the story's
expect
gonna go crazy,
steps
bro.
back in this one. This game taught me the value of novelty. I mean, I knew that before. Come on. Novelty is such a strong factor. The first game had 2 new weapons. Even the Chaos Blade were essentially new because they were repurposed, you know, for a new combat system. Now you take away almost all of our skills, revert them back to their weak state, and make us do all of it again. Why? Because for new players, that's too much at once. Okay. And for not new players, the novelty factor for these weapons is gone now. Charging up the axe or swinging the blades, swing it, is an incredibly minute addition in my eyes. And also, for me, these skills break the flow.
I didn't really see an issue. I mean, obviously, they're not going to give you your skills that you had in the first game because then people will complain. Like, you'd have to make all these skills from the ground up again. You'd have to make so many more skills if you let people have this original skills from 2018 automatically. I don't know. I think it just kind of builds up. I thought the gameplay was perfect. I love the God of War gameplay. I'm trying to think. I get where he's coming from, though. But it's like, I thought it was fine. Because, obviously, if they just give you, like, all your skills that you had before, that had to be so much more that they had to make. I guess,
combat. The
but I
coolest
get what
skills
he
you learn
means,
from the weapons are the ones that have been taken away from you for no reason. And once you learn them again, finally, it's cool again, but it's still like just the cool stuff from the game that's 4.5 years old and that I played through 4 times. How about some new stuff? What they did to shields is even worse. They want shields to be like a new item in your inventory and give you different options. And I really dig and appreciate that idea, but the previous game combined shield and unarmed combat. It was a third way of playing the game. That was the point of the whole poise bar. You could use unarmed and then increase poise and do a finish. finisher. Now the poise bar has become basically a useless
spear
addition
thing,
to the
right?
game because there's no more unarmed combat essentially. Even when you have your axe
Oh, okay.
somewhere thrown away and you do a finisher, the axe insta spawns back in your hand.
Yeah,
and
I
it
did
does a
not
axe
like
finisher.
that.
There are so many cool shield
Because
moves.
in their combat trailer, they talked about how if you had a weapon out, it would do a specific animation. So I don't have a weapon anywhere. It should just be my fist. Boom, psh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted my fist. You know what I
that
mean?
I really miss. I miss the boom, the Druckwave.
That's cool.
And even worse, the game takes your original shield away very early and gives you other crappy shields with no counter move. I love the boom, slow motion and bam, counter move. And like 20 hours in, they give you the old shield back. The only good one in my eyes. Why? It's like if you played Portal 2, the first half of the game you have a pistol, no portal. You take it away to convince us of a worse shield system and then you give it back because you realize, yo, the old shield is actually the best. Now you do eventually get a new weapon. I will not say what it is. And it's a cool one.
I like it.
But come on, bro. This is the game's collector's edition. This is how the first game ends. This is how the second game begins. This is the most famous and renowned and notorious Norse god. Way to set the wrong expectations here. Holy shit. Maybe it
would have been too obvious if we got Mjolnir. That would have been the most badass thing ever. But then they'd have to change the story up completely. Then maybe you get Mjolnir as like some end game item, but at the same time, like I don't think so. Because then they'd have to repurpose the entire story. Because spoiler alert, skip like a minute. Thor dies, right? But that was at the end of the game. So if you want Mjolnir for a big portion of the game, you'd have to move that death up or something way up, like into the middle of the game. You know what I mean? Resume.
Me, and I'm the only one who expected that. I think that was a huge letdown, but you do you.
Now when it comes to the enemies, director said that it was too obvious, and like the Leviathan axe is like a good weapon, and the Mjolnir is like a bad weapon, so it's like good versus evil. So if Kratos got Mjolnir, then it wouldn't have been good.
The average fights, what they did here reminds me a little bit of what Arkham Knight
paraphrasing.
did to
I'm
Arkham City.
paraphrasing.
Arkham City just improved the combat of Arkham Asylum on every level. Arkham Knight, although still a great game, kind of made things a bit too complicated. They added too much. And I think what we have here is similar. I don't think they made the combat much better, but they made it more complex by adding really annoying enemies like the lizards, or there's this one small enemy that you have to kill because it keeps healing the other ones. Special health bar resistance, so you have to switch weapons. They keep you on your feet and they keep you thinking, right? I understand the effort. Nonetheless, I feel like Ragnarok constantly tried to overwhelm me and not allow me to play how I want. Fights became stressful, not challenging. It's a different feeling. It's all about the feeling. I have to talk about you play as Atreus. When I got to play him at first, I thought, yo, this is awesome. I love this idea. And it's a different combat system and all that. But you play as him for at least 10 hours. At least for me. I really collected everything. But his gameplay is so much more restrictive. His equipment management is basic. His skills are more basic too.
I mean, what do you want it to be? It's like you can't give him a completely like 20 different armor pieces and weapon varieties, because like story-wise as well, he wasn't around Brok and them when he was playing. He was in Asgard and doing stuff in Ironwood or whatever, so it's like I don't really know what you want. You know what I mean? That's a spoiler. Kind of, not really. Obviously, we know that.
Combat is more basic. He's a very shallow character in comparison to Kratos. Fun when you first get to do it, but it really wore me down very quickly.
And he's probably going to talk about that one section with Angrboda, which is
equal to Kratos in terms of depth if he takes so much playtime. Idea. Imagine this. In The Last of Us 2, when you play as Abby, I know you guys hate her. She's the worst. You hate her. I get it. Put that aside for one moment. But imagine if Abby did not have a skill system, did not have a crafting system, but the same amount of playtime, which is the same as Ellie's. That would be fucking horrible. But Abby is the same complexity, but different. Atreus is just different and inferior. His segments drag on forever. It feels like I'm playing a budget version of Horizon.
Not good.
Now, last but not least, the story. Hear ye, hear ye. I really don't know how you guys are going to respond to this video. Before anyone dares to say it,
I thought you don't care about stories. I thought you're a gameplay-focused gamer. I thought you were a monk.
Listen, buddy boy. A good story for me is like the icing on the top. The schmegma around the shaft. 2 weeks no bitch. Once I've already bought into a story and I do care about the characters, then I absolutely will listen and it will be important to me. If in GTA 5 we still played Nico Bellic, but now he turned into a Brazilian transvestite by the name of Almanda Oliveira de Soso. Was kann ich mir darunter vorstellen?
What is he saying?
I would say, look how they massacred my boy. Once I care, I care. God of War 2018 made me care and invested in Atreus and Kratos. There is no undoing that. My primary frustration with God of War Ragnarok's story is that it's directionless, has no focus, no theme, no consistency. What made the first game so great was a simple premise. Complex characters, simple story, right? A father and son relationship. Kratos not knowing how to be a good father, how to raise him on his own. It carried
I thought the story was really good in Ragnarok, and I thought there was a direction in Ragnarok, and I thought there was complexity. It's just when you compare God of War 2018 to God of War Ragnarok, big difference. Obviously, there's so much to do.
Der rote Faden.
I don't know.
Strang. Spreading your mom's ashes was something that anyone could instantly understand and relate to. It's important, it's personal, and it creates an immediate sense of urgency without having to create this contrived narrative. It worked because it was simple, sometimes naive. In Ragnarok, on the other hand, I asked myself throughout the entirety of the game, at every point, why? Before every life-threatening situation that Kratos puts his son into, I asked, what's the reason for this perilous adventure? What is the charge? Why not just leave instead of war? Your son's a whiny bitch and in puberty, big whoop. That's why you risk your life and his life constantly over and over again while also complaining that you want to keep him safe. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, then maybe it shows the flaws of Kratos as a father, right?
The reason behind the entire main storyline is not only unconvincing, but also uninteresting. And the Kratos-Atreus relationship is inconsistent with no clear conflict. There are some ideas floating around, you know, occasionally like, hey, you gotta trust me, or hey, you gotta be okay without me, but it's just made up in that moment. There's no consistent no tangible problem that they overcome or work on. It's a funny paradox. The stakes are higher and lower at the same time. Paradoxon. Remember in Inception when he walks the stairs and then he's like, paradoxon. Higher because it's a world-ending event, right? Ragnarok.
Interstellar
Thor
was better.
Odin. Wow, big showdown, crazy shit. But they're also infinitely smaller because I didn't care about any of it happening. You can't just say it's important to make it feel important. I care about Kratos and Atreus. That's what matters. By losing that deep personal layer of the first game, it sacrificed what made it so special. Kratos has a shocking and astonishing,
he's gonna give it a 6.
frustrating lack of agency and purpose in this game. He's just sort of along for the ride and becomes nothing more than a grunting buffoon. Oh, you're so grumpy, Kratos. Oh, fuck. Take balls. I didn't know who he was before the first game. I don't give a fuck about Norse mythology, but he was a great antagonist because they explained his storyline. His battles were epic because they mattered. I don't care if I fight Odin or Thor or whatever if it doesn't make sense to me and if I don't care about them. I just prefer games having a smaller scale and just be
well, when you're as Atreus, you get to learn more about Odin and like his whole thing. He wants to gather knowledge and shit. And then you also learn about Thor and how he has a broken family like Kratos in the first game, and how Thor was a drunk, and how like he has a bad relationship with his daughter and stuff like that. Like I think that's pretty much explained. I don't really know.
On point, then this all-encompassing mess that just falls flat all the way. There's no moment here that made me as emotional as the beginning of God of War 1. Hello there, do I... No moment that made me go wow, like when Baldur goes. There's no moment that gives me goosebumps, like when Kratos has to retrieve his blades of chaos. It just goes on and on. What God of War Ragnarok tries to go in for
Did I get goosebumps during the game?
This Marvel-style endgame type story with all the Hollywood high school drama bullshit that we've come accustomed to. Big battle, go boom boom! Assemble a team! Epic twists and turns that are pulled out of thin air just for fun. There's this one scene, no spoiler, don't worry, where some no-name character sacrifices himself and it's like,
oh yeah, okay, the boat scene.
With my controller thinking,
yeah,
who are you?
yeah, exactly, same.
So
I have no idea.
Unnecessary characters in this game, it's unbelievable.
There was a few Fortnite clips, Miko, but yeah, there's a few.
And they could be cool if they were a conclusion to some type of arc, but they're just
that's a lot to look through,
out
though.
of nowhere.
But I'll find them.
Undeserved catharsis. That's a good word for it. And speaking of catharsis, the ending, the great conclusion, the final boss fights. Insultingly boring and uninspired.
True, the boss fight sucked booty hole. Spoiler alert. Once again, as I say this all the time, Odin and Thor's fight should have been big, bombastic. Should have taken place over the whole 9 realms, riding on top of Jotun or something. Fenrir coming in so that Fenrir kills Odin and it matches the mythology or something, and then he's in, and then Atreus is holding Odin and blah blah blah. It could have been way more bombastic, way more bigger, way more better. That whole fight between Thor, Odin, and Kratos should have been like an hour, and then the build up to that should have been an hour as well. Like that, I don't know. The ending just wrapped up way too quickly in my eyes. Maybe even longer than 2 hours.
I have to say this at this point, it really sucks, but I don't care about Kratos and Atreus anymore. And finally, the pace is bad. The game goes on narrative breaks before it's even established a narrative. There are segments that drag on for so long.
Yeah,
no
yes.
And no freedom. If you know, you know.
Yes.
Let me just give you a hint. Angry Dildo. It feels like
Angry
the game had 50
Dildo.
different writers, and every single one of them wrote a different part, and they didn't communicate. So it ended up just being a complete mess. I do have 2 more smaller problems I really want to mention before we conclude here.
Let's
the replacement for the Valkyries are not even remotely on the same level. These berserkers, no more hidden doors spread around the realm that you have to open and they take you down a mysterious elevator and you walk up to a little arena and they're standing there silently waiting for you. Now you activate a gravestone. What? it felt really lackluster to me. Then the Muspelheim challenges. I really enjoyed those in the previous game. Here, they make you repeat the same challenges over and over again. What a horrible
he hates
system.
this.
If you
Holy
want to get
shit.
early access to the videos, vote on what games will be reviewed next, appear in the videos, go on Patreon and help me out there. I really appreciate all you guys supporting me. So now you know this about me. I'm sorry. I want to join the cheering masses, but I am destined to watch from the shadows, the main character in this tale that we call society. Hey, don't hate me, okay? I still enjoyed the game, all right? God of War Ragnarok is a good game, no doubt. But if the prequel is a masterpiece, then this just pales in comparison. So to all the outlets giving this such amazing ratings,
You give it a 6. Oh, 7. Okay, that's fair.
now Reddit
Meme review. Let's
Oh.
see what we have here. Hopefully more than last time.
when Sophia opens the toilet after Ranton finished. Sophia doesn't have a Karen haircut.
Fucking dare you, bro.
Oh, there you! I saw an opportunity and I took it. Wake up, mother. I pissed the bed. I told the story many times.
He
but
laughed
I
at
used to be
that.
a bed pisser until very late in my life.
I haven't done it in many years.
I pissed the bed. You're like already waiting for her in the washroom. Nice. And then what's this one? Ranton. No average shit! Okay, cool. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one.
This could have been on the main channel, but a very good video as always. I love me some Ranton.
Okay, I'm dizzy now. I have to calm down. And let me tell you, I have a spider web behind the camera.
Yeah.
Lucky.
What is he saying?